And I feel like that's a lie of how business is seen. Like when I was in college, people getting a business degree, and I just thought money. Okay, you're getting a business degree and you're gonna make a lot of money. As opposed to like business really it's getting to know the people in your network, in your city, in your little world, and how you can add value and how you can take care of them. There's this who, not how book of like asking the question of not how do I do more work, moving away from this how mentality and then moving into this who mentality. And the first thing that it starts with is like building your team, but like being a who in all of the other other business owners' lives. I mean, like, how do I be the best who that I could be in their lives? That's business, right?
Welcome back to another episode of Master Delegator. Today we have a fantastic guest joining us, Gabe Gibitz from Blue Guru Marketing. Blue Guru Marketing helps businesses with SEO and digital marketing strategies. However, Gabe's journey to get here is anything but typical. He started out aiming for a career in medicine, later veered into music, and eventually found his calling in marketing. Along the way, he also earned 2 theology degrees, giving him unique insights into both human nature and effective communication. So, in today's episode, we're gonna dive into the power of letting go and trusting your team. Gabe shares his personal experiences on how moving from a how mindset to a who mindset has transformed his business and personal life. He also talks about the struggles he faced, the lessons he learned, and the importance of building a supportive and trustworthy team. We'll also talk about balancing business responsibilities with family life, emphasizing that delegating tasks doesn't just improve work efficiency, it also enhances your overall quality of life. So, if you are an entrepreneur or a leader looking to ease the load and trust your team more, this episode is packed with valuable insights and practical advice. Let's jump right in. All right, I have Gabe Gibitz with me from Blue Guru Marketing. I'm so excited to have you, Gabe, on the podcast. Oh my gosh, like I think we rescheduled this for like 4 or 5 times. And it speaks a lot about us as entrepreneurs, right? We live a busy life, but I'm excited that we're finally here. There were so many revelations that I learned about you that made me so excited to get to know more about you personally and professionally. I feel like we're going to have a great conversation today. So welcome to Master Delegator Podcast. Before we dive right in, I want you to introduce yourself to our listeners.
That sounds great. Well, I'm Gabe. It's just an honor to be here. And we really did go back and forth for 6 to 9 months or something like that. And so it's great to be here. And I remember way back in the day, I have an office back in our backyard that we built. And in the midst of building this office, I was listening to your podcast about delegation. It was 2, 3, 4 years ago. And just you've been such an inspiration to me as I've grown this business. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. You're making me teary. All right. Before we get too emotional, tell me about you. You've been in business for like 7 years already, right? And what you mainly do is help businesses with, including non-profitable organizations, and you help them with marketing, specifically SEO and other creative marketing stuff. So tell me about how you got started.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of us entrepreneurs, like we have this kind of long journey that, I mean, like I never pictured myself here. I mean, like I went to college, I had a seat in med school, and I was ready to go be a doctor. And then I picked up a guitar freshman year, and then I found myself wanting to go lead worship and be a musician and write songs. And then And then it turned into like it's just this evolving journey. Like if you ask anybody when I was 16, like, is he going to start a business? I think I and anybody else that knew me would have said, no, absolutely not. Can not see that at all, right? And then it just evolves as you just journey and as you grow, it just turns into this thing. And so I got into marketing because I have two theology degrees, nothing to do with business. And then I had this music that I was creating and this music that I was writing. And then like I looked at it and I said, well, what do I do with this? I have to market it. So I guess I'll start learning marketing. And so part of this kind of hunger for knowledge and just growth as a part of entrepreneurial life, I'm sure for a lot of your listeners, um, I just started learning marketing. And then I was in marketing at a university here in Kentucky for 6 years. And then just kind of felt like the next step was to leave and then start a business. And it felt crazy and it felt kind of out of the blue, and just one step at a time. I started rolling out this digital marketing business, and we're doing a lot of like I have a lot of print marketing experience, and I just kind of grew in that SEO digital marketing world and started to just build out these sites and just get in front of like help other artists and entrepreneurs and small business owners and nonprofits just get in front of their people, tell their story, and like from SEO and on web and with video. And now we're getting into AI and like leveraging that for small businesses. And so my heart really is for small businesses and these nonprofit like organizations, just to be able to connect with their people and to have their clients and their customers get found.
Yeah, I love that. And, initially when you think about it, um, you love music, so you were a musician, you love writing music. So you're telling a story through music, right? And then
Yes.
now you're a marketer. You're helping people tell their story through marketing. So in a way, it's connected, right? So music
Oh yeah.
helps you tell a story and connect with people. And in marketing, that's also what you're doing. You're telling a story of the brand and you're connecting them to their target audience. So when you were learning how to do marketing, were you able to like market your songs during that time, or the music that you wrote, or did you try to?
Yeah, the music world, it's a tough one, right?
Yeah.
And the so one of the like marketing kind of pieces that we pulled from early on, and I've just seen this thread through all of business, is it's this like personalization aspect. A lot of people just think, oh, I'll just get my message out to a whole bunch of people and they'll say
Mm-hmm.
yes, right? And so we did that when we were launching my first album. Um, we just kind of sent this mass email. Like I knew nothing, right? I sent this mass email out to everybody who knew me and everybody who knew us and said, hey, we're releasing this album. Will you guys get behind this? And crickets, like nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And then we said, okay, so what if we reach out person by person and just ask them and make it a personal experience, connect with people. And that's that human element. Like people just they want to be connected with. They want to know that they're seen, and you can definitely manipulate that in marketing.
Right.
But the how do you use that marketing? And that's what I try to hold in tension. Like how do you use those connecting skills, tell your story in a way that gets to that like back of the brain, that base of the brain, like emotional piece, and connects with people on that level that's beyond words with words. And you do all that in a way that connects with people on ideally that one-on-one connection. And that's hard to do. And a lot of businesses will see like, oh, I offer these services, and like that's how they'll communicate, as opposed to shifting it to this like people really do, and I fought this for a long time, but like people really do choose who they work with and choose who they buy from this like from this spot that they don't even know is like driving them. And it's trust. It's people resonating with these core values of who they are, and resonating, like if you are going to resonate with them on that core level and be able to offer a service or be able to offer some kind of a sale, that they're going to do that based on those core values that they don't even know are there. And so the more you can talk about that, and the more you can talk about your why, Simon Sinek, finding your why,
Right.
like the more you can talk about your why and resonate and connect with your audience, the better.
That's awesome. And I totally agree. You know, as humans, we have emotions, right?
We do.
And the more you tell your authentic story and you know who your audience is, you know, automatically you have that connection already. And so I love that you said that, you know, when you had your first album, you know, you just reach out to people. You're kind of like throwing spaghetti on the wall and, you know,
You are.
waiting you know what sticks. And so with you, with what you've learned personally, you know, when you were promoting your music, I'm pretty sure the mistakes that you've learned, you're able to, or the lessons that you've learned, you're able to apply that to your business now. And so, you know, as a musician, you know, and also as a theologian, you know, as somebody who finished two theology degree. I don't know if there's a plural for that, but how are you finding your passion now? How are you connecting your passion to music and, you know, the word of God to what you're doing now, if that makes sense?
Yes, it does. And it's a big question. The I mean, one of those threads that really connects a lot of the business marketing work that I'm doing with a lot of that like that theology work is like what I mentioned of that, like who are we, like who are we in, like in our, at our core, who are we, like in our soul, who are we, and then how in marketing, and as a business, as I'm kind of walking with these business owners, how are we like authentically communicating ourselves in a trustworthy way, like trying to bring some trust like back to marketing, right? I mean, like you tend to, especially because we're marketed to so much, like one of those questions I I want to help businesses answer is like, how do you build trust with your audience, and like on a soul level, like you don't have to do something that speaks directly to the soul to be able to serve and take care of your clients, your customers, like those around you. Like I, how do you take care of those people by running a good business, by running a trustworthy business, by saying that you're going to do what you said, to doing what you said you were going to do, you know? And so that trust, and it shows up in SEO, it shows up like how often you're showing up, right? How often you're communicating the consistent same message of, I mean, that kind of gets into branding, of like, are you communicating the same message consistently? And that you kind of, I mean, we can go here if you want, but like then you kind of get into like the soul of the brand, and like who am I working with? Like at Blue Guru, who are you working with? Are you working with somebody who is going to be transparent and honest, and if we mess something up, we're going to tell you, and if we didn't see that, like we're gonna tell you, you know what I mean? Like, or like, are you gonna work with somebody who's transparent and honest, and continues to communicate the same, like who you are, the same brand, and the same kind of ways that you can bring value to your customers and to your clients over and over again? or
Right.
are like, so that's where that soul piece really comes in for
Mm.
me, you know?
I love that. I love that because in everything you do, whether you're a musician or a theologian or a business owner, trust plays an important role, integrity as well,
Yes.
right? I love that. So when it comes to running your business, because you help people be successful in their marketing, right? What is the most common marketing challenge that you saw from different types of businesses that you have helped so far, and how did you help them overcome those challenges?
It's the shift from um like living in it's it's empathy would probably be
Mm,
the like a good word of it's easy for a lot of business owners, and my wife is in counseling, and like that's kind of her world, and that's a lot of what she's taught me over the years, because I'm not a like intuitive empathic person. I'm just not that, but I've learned over the years. And it's this empathy of standing in the shoes of your client or of your customer. A
mm,
lot of people that I like, a lot of business owners that I'm working with, they're in their own world, and they're in the day-to-day part of the business, and they don't think about what it's like coming from the customer, coming from the client, and how they experience the whole experience, and how the like what the flow is of like what's the journey of that customer. They don't think about that as much. They just tend to say, well, I have these services and I offer these things. This is how I help people, as opposed to thinking through the whole journey and really getting in their customer's shoes and walking that journey with them, and then thinking about how you speak to them. Like that's what I see as a huge shift for a lot of business owners.
wow, I love that. That is such a good perspective, because for most people, when you ask them what is your most common marketing challenge, they will say technology, but I feel like we neglect putting ourselves in our customers' shoes, right? And I think that's the most important thing. So, how do you navigate that in your business? Knowing that, you mentioned earlier, you're not really that, you know, intuitive, intuitive kind of a person, but I'm sure, you are now learning how to become one because you have to teach your clients how to have empathy when it comes to implementing their marketing strategies.
Yeah. I'm trying like at the very beginning, um, the like one example of like this shift for me has been um, the like listening. Like the first time I sit down with a client, it started with, hey, you're looking for a website, I can give you a website. I mean, that's kind of
Right.
as far as it
Mhm.
went, because that's the first, a lot of the first, like when you're in the digital marketing world, a lot of the first conversations start with, I need a website. And the now I'm shifting that into just like the first meeting with clients is just asking a lot of questions. Like I'm listening. I'm not here to sell this package or that package. Like I'm just here to listen, to hear really at the core what the problem is, because they might say, "Hey, I need a website. That's my problem," or "I need a new design," or "I need a new logo," or something. But and they might not even be able to articulate. This is the part of that base of the brain kind of mentality. Like they might not even be able to articulate what they need. They're in problem solving mode. They're just trying to solve a problem, and they think it's a website. As opposed to, if I sit down and listen, and then give them a vision of, okay, well, this is where I think you can head. Let's look at where you're at. Let's say just from an SEO angle. Maybe you don't need just a website. maybe you really need to be found for these kinds of terms in these cities and these towns. And I think it's realistic for you to show up for those things. Um, or that's maybe you don't need just a website. Maybe we also need to do these other things because your goal is not just a website. Your goal is I need to increase business by 20%. Like, okay, so how are we going to do that? And where are you losing people? Are you losing people in sales? Maybe you don't need more people right now. Maybe you need to close your deals better. And so like asking all of those kinds of questions and then getting a sense of like the holistic picture of their business and then offering like an actual solution as opposed to, yeah, I can design a website for you. And so the
Right.
listening piece has been a really big shift for me.
Yeah, I love that. And I totally agree with you. I wasn't the best example when it comes to having empathy. As a matter of fact, I wasn't very empathetic before I had a business. But now I can easily empathize with people. And that's because I listen more. And I feel like owning a business, becoming an entrepreneur, it kind of forces you in a good way to have empathy or to learn how to have empathy towards other people because now you have a responsibility, right? And when you have a responsibility, you have to listen to people. We have responsibilities to our team members, we have responsibilities to our clients, and if we don't listen to them, we're not going to be able to handle our responsibilities well and get results that we wanted. So,
yeah, and I feel like that's a lie of like how business is seen. Like when I was in college, you said business to me, like people getting a business degree, and I just thought money. Like that's all I really that's all I thought was, okay, you're getting a business degree and you're going to make a lot of money. As opposed to like business really is getting it's getting to know the people in your network, in your city, in your little world, and how you can add value and how you can take care of them. And talking about this, like there's this who not how book of like asking the question of not how do I do more work, and this can kind of flow into some of this delegation work that you talk about so much, like this moving away from this how mentality and then moving into this who mentality. And the first thing that it starts with is like building your team. Yeah, we can talk about that in a few minutes, but like being a who in all of the other for me, other business owners' lives. I mean, like, how do I be the best who that I could be in their lives? And that's business, right? I mean, like business is not just making a lot of money. Business is sitting down with a customer, with a client, with a business owner and saying, okay, how do I make your life better? And there's a value, and like they'll pay for that. Yeah. But you're giving them more value than they could have ever created on their own. I mean, that's the goal. And
right.
If a good business is going to do that, and a good business that's going to grow is going to do that over and over and over again. And that's not a concept that I had in my mind when I thought of business back in the day.
Right. Yeah. I feel like we learn as we go. Right. Yeah.
Really
and adding value starts by listening, and by listening, you have more empathy towards other people.
Are you sick and tired of being overwhelmed and afraid you'll never scale your business? Meet Smart VAs. Unlike many virtual assistant agencies that only assign one dedicated virtual assistant, we provide flexibility for growing businesses by assigning a team of experienced virtual assistants that can do different tasks to support your continuous growth. Visit smartvas.online to book a free discovery call and start growing your business.
So when you started your business, you were so used to doing everything yourself, right? probably from sales, from sales to marketing to admin, to talking to people. You used to do everything. But what was your turning point? Kind of like, what was your coming to Christ moment when it comes
Yeah, right.
to asking help?
I've had a lot of those throughout this whole run of owning this business. I mean, running a business is so humbling. I mean, over and over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure you can resonate with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't do everything on your own, and you have to bring people around you that can help you, and you have to be able to communicate those needs and be vulnerable with your team too, and just say, uh, I'm to the point with my team where I just tell them, hey, if I'm like, I tend like we moved a lot when I was growing up, and one of the ways that I kind of dealt with moving a lot was to become this loner. Like, I was always friendly, but
Mm-hmm.
like it was very much this mentality of, I'll just do it myself. Like, I'll take care of it myself, and I was able to do it myself for a long time. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs get to where they are because they've done a lot of stuff themselves. And so, like, I think a lot of entrepreneurs can resonate with that kind of mentality of,
Oh yeah.
I'll do it myself, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll do it better than everybody else. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a lie, but like, I'll do it better than everybody else, and I'll just do it myself. And I got to a point, it was probably I was probably 4 or 5 years in, and I just got to a point where I just realized, if I'm going to sustain a business long term, I can't do this myself. I mean, like, I was getting to the point where I was like grumpy with our 5 kids, and like,
Yeah.
I would get home and like, I work in my backyard, but like, I would get
Mm-hmm.
home and do that long walk to the house, and then I'd be stressed, and like, I wanted to be present, but I couldn't. And I got to this point where I just said, I need a team. Like, I need help. And there's no way that I'm going to get 2 years down the road, let alone 20 years down the road, without building out a team. And so, one of the ways that it feels like God speaks to me is through Audible books. It's
Mm.
kind of funny, but like, an Audible book just popped up on my recommended reading, and it was from Dan Sullivan and from Dr. Benjamin Hardy, the Who Not How book. And they have a three-part, there are 3 books that are out, and I saw them all, and I just bought them all. I was like, man, I need something. I need help. And so I listened to these, and like, I had some, like, a team helping me, but the business was kind of growing to a spot where I needed to really delegate, like, really build out a team. And so this year, like, probably the past 18 months have really been this mindset shift of like, okay, if I'm gonna be present with my kids, if I'm gonna be present with my wife, if I'm gonna be like, and be able to sustain and grow a business, I need a team. And so, like, the my budget for, like, in my expenses for my team has just skyrocketed this year because I know I need them. And so, and it's been transformational. And it's hard, right? I mean, like,
Oh yeah.
delegation and growing a team, like, that's not easy, but it is so much better than doing it myself. And so anytime I say, I'll just take care of it, and I've told my team, like, just take it from me. Like, if I tell you I'll take care of it, just take it from me, because I know that I don't need to do it myself. And so that's been transformation, you know?
I love that. Now that you finally realized that you needed a team, how were you able to slowly let go and start trusting your team?
Mm, that is a daily decision, Kristy, a daily decision to let go. The it's building out, like, this habit, really, of um, like Atomic Habits from I can't remember his name, but like I read that book and
Yeah, yeah.
it was transformational for me too. And just
James Clear.
connect like
That's his name.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
And he had one, like there was a lot of takeaways for me, but he had one takeaway of just connecting a new habit with the habits that you already have. And so, I mean, like I've been a Palm Pilot kid since I was like 15. People would
Mm-hmm.
make fun of me for that when I was a kid. And the so part of like a mostly daily routine for me is going through I use a full focus planner. They're amazing, and they come like hardback, hardbound, and they're like you get a book per quarter. And so it's just part of my daily rhythm of going through, okay, what needs to get done today. And I've gotten to the point where I'm just, instead of just saying, what do I need to do today? I've gotten to a point where as I'm thinking about the day, and it's just a habit that I've kind of created of saying, okay, what is me? Like, what can only I do? And what can I let everybody else do? And just starting to separate those. And I mean, I was doing that 15 years ago. Um, and like I started 10, 15 years ago, and I'm still learning to just ask that question every day.
Yeah.
Like, do I need to do that? Do I need to do that? And do I need to do that? No, I can let go of those things so that I can focus on these three things that only I can do. So it's that daily question and telling my team again, like, just call me out on it. Like, keep me accountable because there are a lot of things that I don't need to do, and you can help me let go of so many of those things.
Right. Yeah. I love that. And, it's a consistent assessment of what you can and can't do, right? It's not just a one-time thing that you do at the beginning of the year,
It is.
and not do it again. Sometimes you have to do it on a monthly basis or quarterly or yearly basis, depending on your goals, especially in this era that new technologies are appearing more and more, so
Oh,
we have
yeah.
to adapt to those different technologies as well, and they affect our strategies or the plans that we have built for the business for the entire year. So letting go of your responsibilities and your tasks, that alone is already hard. Trusting somebody to do your responsibilities or your tasks is another thing, that's which is also hard. So how did you learn to trust your team, because you work with us, as far as I know, in 2021?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know us, obviously. You didn't know me, Regine, Miguel, or any of our team members.
Right.
How did you learn to trust your team or your VAs?
Yeah. Um, the and that this goes back to um, like earlier in the conversation of the trust factor. Like trust doesn't just show up. Trust is slowly earned and easily taken away, right? And so the like I love the relationship that we've had for so like Smart VAs and
Mm-hmm.
Blue Guru. Like you guys have earned my trust over years of work, and you guys have been such a great like you have been trustworthy, you've been there, you've shown up, and like your team has been amazing. And I'm a huge fan of Regine, and Regine's
Mm-hmm.
always checking on me,
Mm-hmm.
and so like over and over every quarter you guys are checking in saying, hey, how are things going? And that trust comes like in those honest check-ins of
Mm-hmm.
saying all of these things are working great, a couple of these aren't, let's work on those.
Right.
And then with the other kind of freelancers that are on my team, I mean, like working with them has most of those relationships have happened over 5, 10, 15 years. And I know these people and I trust them. And I know time and time, like I've worked with most of them at some point in my life. And so I bring them in on projects when I know that they're going to deliver, and I know that they're good people, like good soul people, right? And then they're also really good at what they do. And I know that they're going to come in, they're going to be good to my people, and they're going to be able to deliver at a level that I just could not deliver myself. And so that trust has really grown over the years with everybody on my team, and that's been that bedrock for me of the team, has been that trust over the years.
Right. Yeah, I love that. I remember, I wasn't sure if it was 2 years ago or maybe beginning last year. You sent me something in the mail. I forget what was it. I don't know if you can remember. You sent me something in the mail, and then there was a post-it note, and then you wrote, Kristy, you built an amazing team, Gabe. I put it on
Yes.
my fridge. It's still on my fridge right now. I can take a picture of it and send it to you, but I forget what you sent me. But when you sent me that, I was like, oh, Gabe, like I really appreciated that. And I feel like going back to what you were saying earlier, just having an open communication, having a
Yeah.
feedback session, also being honest and transparent with the work that you're receiving, even with how you are communicating with the team, because it's not just a one-way feedback loop,
Oh
right?
man,
Yeah, it's
yes.
it's two-way all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like we give you feedback, you give us feedback, because we're human beings. We're not perfect, and even us business owners, we're not perfect, right? And I believe in what John Maxwell said. This is not the exact quote, but it's the same thought. He said everything rises and falls on leadership. And
That's
for the
right.
most part, if you're handling a team, it's your business. So whatever
That's
happens,
right.
you take full accountability, full ownership of the mistakes, right? And
Oh
it may
man.
be it may
Yeah, I
be
mean,
hard to
like
accept
I'm
it.
asking myself, like, okay, so this didn't work. What My first question is, like, where did I mess up? Like, did I not communicate that right? Did um did I not, did I not articulate what I wanted? Did I not articulate what the goal looks like? What success looks like? Asking myself all of those questions first, because I know that
Mhm.
it's going to start with me, and with you, and with your team. It's going to start with you, and it's going to end with you. And 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 so, like, knowing and asking myself and being humble enough to say, what's my role in this, because it's probably a big part of this problem.
Right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And part of our core values at Smart VAs is, having humility and being others focused. We don't really blame the client whenever there's an error. We take ownership of,
That's
of
right.
our of our mistakes. So I think if the business owner and also the team member, if each one of them has that mentality, when it comes to making mistakes, or when it comes to processing a mistake, if they ask themselves individually, how did I contribute to this problem, and what can I do going forward to stop this from happening again, I feel like it will save a lot of headaches, and it will save a lot of relationship, because even though you're a client, and even though you're a client, and you're paying us for the services, and we're doing the work, it's not transactional, at least for us, because we're very relational. And
Right.
that's why we check in with our clients, and I'm glad that you're very consistent when it comes to, like, responding to them. But trust me, there are some people who are crickets. They don't reply even if you send them 10 emails or give them a call. And so it's really a partnership. It's a
It is.
collaboration. Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. So trusting a team, it's not really easy, but again, I love using. I don't have a better term or a better word to use, but I like using the word force. We're kind of like forced to trust somebody because in a good way, because we have to, or otherwise what we're doing in the business, it's not going to be sustainable because we cannot do everything in our business. So on a daily basis, because you have 5 kids, right? And your
Right.
wife, she does counseling, so both of you are busy, right? So how do you make sure that you are living a freedom filled lifestyle? You're running your business successfully while at the same time being present. That's hard. I don't have kids yet, but I feel
Yeah.
like I don't give enough time to my husband already because I'm so focused in the business. So how much more if you have 5 kids, right?
Yeah. I mean, and the intentionality, I think the two things that come to mind right away are first of all, you have to value it. And like that, the family is just a huge value for us, and being there and being present with each other and being present with our kids, and not letting this, like, of all the balls that we juggle in life, not letting work become the ball that I care about the most by
Mm.
any sense of like uh, any sense of the imagination. And so the making sure for me that we have that base value of family. I mean, it starts there for us. Then keeping that value first, right, is the challenge. And so part of it's intentionality, and like my wife and I just keep each other accountable, and
Mhm.
make sure that we are being present with each other and being present with our kids. And then the other part, it has really been building out a team. I mean, there have been so many moments over the past 3 years where like when you have 5 kids, you have to be flexible. And so like my wife is going one way with dropping off kids at school, and I'm going another way, taking one of the kids to the doctor because they're sick, right? That's just
Mhm.
they're little, they get
Yeah.
sick. And so there have been so many moments where I've like sent messages to the team and just said, "Hey, I am so glad that I can go take my son to the doctor." And my first reaction is to fret and distress, right? Like, okay, I'm not doing the work that I should be doing. But my second response is, but I have a team. Like, they're taking care of a lot of the things that I used to do by myself. And the more I can empower, the more I can delegate, and the more I can build out this strong, solid team, the more I don't need to fret about being present and taking my son to camp for a weekend or taking one of our daughters to the doctor. And so that team for me has really been a lifesaver because I'm not having to worry so much about the day to day. I mean, like, I'm still very present in that, and I'm still working on growing
Right.
out of that,
Mm.
but I'm not as I can walk away for a couple hours and not feel guilty. And so that's been a big shift for me with the team, for sure.
Mm. I love it. I love when you said, when it comes to your family, you have to value it first. At the beginning, it is something that's important to you, but we can easily neglect our family because you know that they're just there, right? But you have to be
Mhm.
intentional and you have to value it. You really have to put that desire in your heart to value them. Otherwise, you're going to neglect them. You're just going to focus on the business. Well, this has been a great conversation with you, Gabe. Time flies
Oh,
so
I've enjoyed
fast.
it a lot.
Yeah. So before we wrap, I mean, as we're wrapping up, any last few words, any wisdom you want to leave to our listeners to help them live a freedom-filled lifestyle?
Yeah, I think just like holding on to this idea that when you when you have a team, when you build out a team, and when you bring these who's and you surround yourself with them, then you start to free up this time, and you start to free up opportunities for you to pursue like the purpose that you've been created for. And like I think about, like, when you think of, like, we just got back from a funeral, and
Mm.
it gets you to think about like what really matters, And what really matters at the end of my life is not that I grew a multi-million-dollar business or whatever. It's that I was there for my family, I was there for my friends, and that I had those deep relationships. And that's what a team for entrepreneurs and for me can do. It frees that time, it frees purpose, and it frees you to be in relationship with the people who matter the most.
Exactly. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right. So where can people find you online? You're welcome.
At Blue Guru. You can find me online on blueguru.marketing, and that's my site. And that's where I'm at.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Gabe, for your time today.
Thank you.